At first glance, this appears to be a back mount Victor Talking Machine Company gramophone, but it isn't. Near the final years of the 1890s, Emil Berliner sold his patents to Eldridge Johnson, who was the manufacturer of the Victor Talking Machines before they were called Victor. And Eldridge Johnson completed the court battles that he was having with Frank Seaman over some of the patents, and he changed the company name once he won to the Victor Talking Machine Company. Emil Berliner, well, he sold his patents worldwide except for Canada. So us Canadians were fairly lucky. The company continued on in Canada. He moved his production up here to Montreal, Canada, and started offering a line of machines. The first earliest machines were similar to the ones he was selling in the States. The Berliner trademark, the Canadian one is very similar to the American one. And then he started marketing a whole new line of machines, and this went on for quite a while. At the time, he still had dealings with the Victor Talking Machine Company, so a lot of the designs were similar to what you would see in the States with a Victor Talking Machine gramophone. Later, Berliner just began importing Victor machines into Canada, and his production decreased until it eventually stopped. This machine was one of the Canadian offerings. It has the typical Canadian Berliner ID tag, which is really nice. It obviously looks a lot like a Victor, and the parts on it look a lot like Victor, and the decal on it looks a lot like the Victor. So you can see the influence and the relationship this company had with Victor. When you come in for a close-up, you'll see it's a really nice cabinet. It needs a little bit of work done on it because the finish is really dull. It needs some finish put on it or something. But you can see the appliques, which are very nice. We got this really magnificent fiber horn with full wood graining on it, and it's just amazing. It's really beautiful. So let's come in for a close-up and take a look at this machine from 1909. Okay, let's take a look. First, we'll start with the decal. Yeah, that looks familiar, but it says Berliner gramophone instead of Victor. The horn, you can see the wood graining is really nice. And yeah, there are a few scratches on it, a few dents here and there, but you know, it's actually really, really quite good. I mean, these things did not survive, and they weren't made in huge quantities. Yep, basically everything like a Victor, the tone arm. The reproducer is actually an exhibition reproducer. The cabinets on the Canadian machines deviated from the American ones a little bit. This one's really special because it has all this woodworking on it, which most of the machines in Canada didn't have. But you can see really nice. And yes, yeah, it looks like it could use some work on the finish. And here's the typical Canadian tag, and this is a Model J, a Berliner Gramophone Model J. Quite a nice machine.